Broadcasting from Hanoi, capital of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. Welcome to the Voice of Vietnam. I'm Hung Nguyen, your host. In today's show, After the News, Current Affairs will take you on a trip to the Central Highland province of Đắk Lắk to witness how freedom of belief is practiced there. Our Village Life segment will look at large-scale rice fields, a key model for new-style rural building in Trà Vinh province. Finally, the Culture Edition will talk about Hanoi's plan to make Thang Imperial Citadel Cultural and Historical Park. Now for the news in detail.
In the news headlines, the Deputy Prime Minister praises Vietnam-Cuba trade, which totals up to $350 million every year. The Vietnamese people's lives improve markedly as a result of 10-year social policy implementation. And the European Commission proposes fresh sanctions against Russia. Now the news in detail. The Vietnam-Cuba Business Promotion Forum took place in Hanoi on Thursday, co-chaired by Cuban Prime Minister Manuel Marrero Cruz and Deputy Prime Minister Lê Minh Khái. Deputy Prime Minister Khái said that in recent years, although Vietnam and Cuba faced many difficulties and challenges, the special friendship they established over many generations continues in all fields. Their two-way trade turnover totals between $250 and $350 million every year.
Diễn đàn xúc tiến kinh tế Việt Nam-Cuba hôm nay là sự kiện quan trọng để các bạn Cuba.
The forum is an important event for Cuban businesses to introduce to the Vietnam business community investment cooperation opportunities to attract foreign investment to Cuba, like the Mario Special Development Zone. I'm confident that with the strong participation of ministries, agencies, and enterprises in the state and private sectors of Vietnam, opportunities will be found to expand trade and investment cooperation between Vietnam and Cuba.
Prime Minister Cruz said Cuba will give the highest priority to and create favorable conditions for Vietnamese businesses to operate in Cuba. At the forum, cooperation agreements were signed between a number of Vietnamese enterprises and their Cuban partners. After 10 years of implementing the Party Central Committee's resolution on social policy issues for the period 2012-2020, people's living standards have been significantly improved, with poor households decreasing to 3% and the Millennium Development Goals achieved, according to a seminar on Friday. At the seminar organized by the Central Theoretical Council and the World Bank in Vietnam in Hanoi, Professor Dr. Tạ Ngọc Tấn, Vice Chairman of the Council, highlighted Vietnam's effort to make people's lives better.
Phát triển xã hội, phát triển con người, không ngừng nâng cao đời sống vật chất tinh thần của nhân dân.
Social and human development and constant improvement of people's lives are always the core goal of Vietnam throughout the process of national construction and development. In the renewal period, along with efforts to develop the economy, the party and state of Vietnam have focused on the implementation of social policies under the motto, economic growth goes hand in hand with social progress and social justice in every step, every policy, and throughout the development process, aiming to bring more and more happiness to the people.
However, participants said Vietnam is facing challenges to address its social problems due to strong development of the fourth industrial revolution, impacts from epidemics, climate change, and the competitive international environment. The seminar worked out directions for reforming Vietnam's social security system by 2030 to achieve a cohesive social security system which is more connected, adaptive, and efficient. Experts on Friday shared with Mekong Delta localities information and scientific research results about environmental protection for sustainable management of natural resources, biodiversity, and adaptation to climate change. At a seminar hosted by Cần Thơ University, participants said the Mekong Delta region, with its strengths in seafood, fruit, and rice production, makes a great contribution to the ensuring food security and export of the whole country. However, it is severely affected by climate change. Professor Dr. Ha Thanh Toàn, rector of Cần Thơ University, said,
những kết quả nghiên cứu, thành tựu khoa học góp phần cung cấp thông tin khoa học ứng dụng vào đường.
The results of research and scientific findings provide information that is applied to the actual conditions of the locality towards sustainable development and increased resilience to climate change now and in the future for the Mekong Delta region and the whole country.
The Ministry of Information and Communications launched a program called October Digital Consumption Month Thursday in response to National Digital Transformation Day, October 10th. This initiative is aimed at giving people the benefits of digital transformation while giving digital businesses access to more customers. Nguyễn Huy Dung is Deputy Minister of Information and Communications.
Nhóm kỹ năng số cơ bản cho người dân mà Bộ Thông tin và Truyền thông muốn thúc đẩy.
We want to promote basic digital skills, including using online public service, shopping online, paying online, and protecting yourself against online dangers and risks. The average person spends 5 to 6 hours a day on the internet. We want, through its campaigns, to promote remote medical examination and treatment, reading, and the use of other digital products and services, in addition to news and entertainment. Now for some more news. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen has proposed fresh sanctions against Russia over a special military operation in Ukraine, including further trade restrictions, individual blacklistings, and an oil price cap for third countries. The proposal will now go to the bloc's 27 member countries, which will need to reach unanimity to ratify it. Earlier, a senior economic advisor to Ukraine's President Zelensky called on the EU to further cut money flows to Russia from fossil fuel sales. EU ministers will hold their next formal meeting in mid-October when the sanctions package could be finalized. Russian President Vladimir Putin recognized the independence of Ukraine's Zaporizhia and Kherson regions, according to presidential decree issued late Thursday. On Tuesday, officials in those two regions had announced the result of a referendum on whether or not to be annexed by Russia. Addressing the UN General Assembly, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that he did not accept the referendum results in those two regions and will not negotiate it with Russia after Russia held annexation referendums in 4 Ukrainian regions. North Korea launched a missile off its east coast on Thursday, its third missile test this week, the South Korean military said, as U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris wrapped up a day-long visit to South Korea to meet South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol and visit the demilitarized zone. The Kyodo News Agency quoted the Japanese Ministry of Defense as saying that the missile North Korea launched could be a ballistic missile. The missile is believed to have landed outside Japan's exclusive economic zone. No damage from the missile has been reported. North Korea's latest launch came just as South Korea and the U.S. concluded a high-level military exercise involving the aircraft carrier USS Ronald Reagan. North Korea fired 1 short-range ballistic missile last weekend and 2 short-range ballistic missiles into its eastern sea on Wednesday. A suicide attack at a tutoring center in the Afghan capital Kabul killed at least 19 people and wounded dozens, police said on Friday. Many of those living in the western area where the blast occurred are Hazara, a Muslim minority. Kabul police spokesperson Khalid Zadran said the official toll was 19 people dead and 29 wounded. The Interior Ministry spokesman Abdul Nafi Tagore said earlier that security teams have reached the site. The nature of the attack and the details of the casualties will be released later. Shiite Hazaras are frequently the target of attacks by the IS. Multiple attacks have occurred in the area, targeting children, women, and schools. Last year, at least 85 people were killed.
Now to end the news, here are the headlines once again. The deputy for Mr. President's Vietnam-Cuba trade, which totals up to $350 million every year. Vietnamese people's lives improve markedly as a result of 10-year social policy implementation. And the European Commission proposes fresh sanctions against Russia. That's the news.